Good morning. Happy Thursday. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, here with some words of wisdom to start your day off well, give you something to think about and maybe talk about with those who are willing to dive deeply with you. So we shall give it a minute for people to pop on here and hope you're all off to a good start today. It was a little tough digging myself out of bed today. I don't know why. Lots to do today, which is always a good thing. But let us start, as we typically do, with some tapping and some breath. So pick your spot. I happen to like the collarbone spot. For those of you who aren't familiar with tapping, you can look up Emotional Freedom Technique. Right now, actually, the Tapping Summit is going on, and they've had some amazing speakers and those who've been demonstrating. You came back to Facebook today. Well, hello. Glad you're here, Miss Jonille. Welcome, welcome. You're actually the first person popping on. And there is Abigail and Mel. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're all here. So people starting to find me and roll in here. We're just doing some tapping and let's do some breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Good morning, Nancy. Welcome. Glad you're here. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Practical rebels showing up in spades as always. This is good. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And one more. Hold at the top. In through the nose. Hold. And release. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All glad you're all here. So, and I've been kind of tracking to see how things are going on the various platforms, now going live on 3 platforms that typically just received the post after the fact. What I usually would post from my Facebook business page, but now starting to see an uptick in people who are watching, maybe not live, but at least watching after the fact. So that's cool. Haven't figured out all the bells and whistles yet, like how to put my cover on things after the fact, but we'll get there. My poor virtual assistant, who I share with Jonille, was thinking she had norovirus. She was sick, 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 and ended up in the emergency room night before last. And so she's got to take good care of herself for the moment instead of managing all of our stuff. So she'll bounce back. She is a very resilient person. So today we have a card that we had recently. And one of the things that I typically say is when a card shows up multiple times in rapid succession, we need to pay attention. We need to pay attention. So it's if we hear a message once, you hear a message twice, perk up your ears a little bit. You hear it 3, 4, 5 times, it's like, come on, people. You and I are a handful for Morgan. Yes, and she manages us quite well, I think. Quite well. So today we have the Wild Harmonic Oracle deck by Gabrielle J. Maryhugh. And what I say about this deck when we have a card from it is that it's a deep deck. It's a very intense deck. And actually, Tuesday, my coffee group, which was smaller than usual because several people were on vacation, we decided that this was the deck to use, which I think Tuesday was the last day we pulled a card from this deck, perhaps. And so there were 3 of us on. Good morning, Ruth Ann. Glad you're here. Welcome. And between the 3 cards, it told quite a story, a really powerful story with guidance for where are we at, where are we going, what do you need to pay attention to. Single cards are kind of, in my opinion, they get us started. But when you pick a series of cards, that's when the magic really happens. But on here, given this venue and the style of what we do here, single card. So there's the woman with the butterflies flying off of her. And our card for today is Heir of Air, Chaotic Return. Chaotic Return. Now look at the image and you'll see that it's an impossible image, especially if you pay attention to this bar right here. So let's see what it has to say. Another nice deep breath, opening to receiving whatever about this message is here for you. In through the nose, Out through the mouth. Chaotic return, air of air. As the interconnected intelligence meets itself, the impossible is realized. So there is in this system, there is a level of intelligence that can be tapped by all, should we choose to. Should we choose to. The interconnected intelligence meets itself, the impossible is realized. I'd put impossible in quotes. So the meditation part, leaps of logic, quantum jumps, unlikely shifts in perspective or approach, and the unconditional allowance of everything as it is. So, two thoughts on that part. The first thing is that shift in perspective or approach. We've been talking about that over and over and over again, haven't we? Chaotic return, absolutely. Okay, humans, here we go. Um, that there's much going on right now that requires a perspective shift from us. If we can come above, there's many cards that we pull that are like an eagle's eye vision. If we can pull ourselves out and look at this from a much higher perspective, a much broader perspective, we're going to have a whole different perception of things that are going on than we do when we have it right in front of our nose. When you can back things up and take a look at them, you get a much more intelligent view, a much more useful view. That doesn't mean don't examine things closely, but it means sometimes examining them. Good morning, Carolyn, welcome. Glad you are here. From a variety of perspectives makes a huge difference. We all know the story of the blind men touching the elephant, and everyone is absolutely right about the part of the elephant they're touching, but they're missing the big picture. So this card is calling for us to take a big picture view of things. Let's see. A card calling me into the deepest mysteries of the interconnectedness of all things. It is at once a defiance of reason and a nurturing of true knowing. I met a new human last night. She and I had a coffee date, and I had been linked to her through a mutual friend on LinkedIn. And he felt that what she was working on or had worked on would be useful for me to hear about, given what I'm working on, which is building an intentional community, a pocket neighborhood in my area. And we did. It was she had been working on an intentional community that ultimately did not get off the ground. And so she shared the reasons why she felt that was. That was helpful in me, again, getting a step back, taking a much broader view of what it is I'm setting about to do. So oftentimes this kind of viewpoint can come through others, can come through things we read, can come through courses we take, can come through the casual comment that someone makes. Whatever method it comes to us, it's helpful in terms of moving us from here to here so we can see things more clearly. I also like the part in here that's talking about unconditional allowance of everything as it is. If you have not read the classic Byron Katie, Loving What Is, please do so. Please do so. Yes, you should be able to see the comments on your screen now. Carolyn, let me know if you can't, and then we'll try to figure out maybe it's the device you're on, or maybe there's a setting that needs to change on your end. But right now, you should see a whole stream of comments off to the side here. We'll see. Maybe, I bet I know what it is. I bet you're on my personal Facebook page rather than my business page, Facebook page. And I keep resetting the parameters on there, and there is a way to set it so that you can see comments, but I haven't quite figured it out yet. So I changed it at one point, and I don't know if it got changed back or what, but we'll keep working on it. Eventually, I will figure this all out. The old dog can learn new tricks, right? And there's probably, I don't know, 7 of you on Facebook itself. You're there with you. Okay, so you're also on the personal page and probably not seeing the comments. I'll see if I can figure that one out. It would be so helpful when Morgan's healthy again. But for those of you who just jumped on, let me show you the card we're working with today. So it's chaotic return, air of air, chaotic return. The impossible made possible, basically. So, going back to Byron Katie, basically what she's talking about is the more we can allow for what is, it doesn't mean we have to be happy about it, but the more we don't hemorrhage our energy into, you only see yours. Got it. All right, we'll see if we can get that fixed. Um, the more that we hemorrhage our energy into, it shouldn't be this way, we're wasting precious energy that then could be put toward how would I like it instead? And what steps can I take to make it be so? It's not that you're denying what is, it's you're looking at how would you like it to be and putting your energy there. Because where attention goes, that's where energy flows. So if all you're paying attention to is what you don't like and railing against that, you're hemorrhaging your precious energy in a way that's not useful and productive for you. Okay, so one of the simple tricks that I use with clients when they're stuck in that loop of say it ain't so is asking them, okay, describe how it is. Now describe how you'd like it to be. Now, what's a step you can take to create how you'd like it to be? Stop wasting energy on how it is. What would be a step you can take to move you forward into how you would like it to be? All right, next paragraph. Opening the heart is opening to the radical because when you are heart driven, heart centered, soul driven, soul centered, not logic driven, again, I think it was Einstein who said the mind is meant to be the faithful servant of the heart and the soul. So don't let the mind run the show. The mind does not get to run the bus. It can be in service to the heart and soul. If I have ideas about what it means to have an open heart, they are shattered as I find my own way. What leads from one thing to another is but a temporary alignment. And remember, the image that I used to describe that was the Hogwarts, where the staircase goes here and then all of a sudden it shifts and it's going somewhere else. Temporary alignment to get you where you're going or not. And let that go then and move on. You're on the next part of your path. The absurd is smiling behind it all, just waiting its turn to play at being the rational. So, the inquiry question, and if some of you could put it in the feed, that would be awesome. What am I keeping myself from doing because it seems irrational, even though I sense it would be worthwhile? What am I keeping myself from doing, even though it seems irrational and I sense it would be worthwhile? Isn't that an interesting question to ponder? What are you choosing not to do because it seems like it's irrational, but it's really where the tug is taking you? Follow the tug. Follow the tug. Again, I believe God equips the called, not calling the equipped. So if there's something we are called to do, we'll be given the means to do it over time. We may not see them right up front, but over time. So that is our card for today. Let me show you it again. Chaotic return. Allow for the impossible. Allow for the impossible. Again, it's only impossible until it gets done. I think that was Nelson Mandela who said that, or Desmond Tutu, one of them. Anyway, the gist of it was it's only impossible until we do it. 4 Minute Mile was only impossible until Roger Bannister did it. Then all kinds of people started doing it. So, what do we believe is possible? What do we want to choose to believe is possible, even though it seems impossible right now? Take a breath. Thank you, Mel. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, we'll see what we can do to get some of the bugs fixed here. Have an awesome Thursday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Have an awesome day. Bye-bye.